guys, welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things books. My name is Chloe and it's nice to have you here if you're new. So in today's video I thought we could talk about all of my TBR books. So welcome to the book room. I very rarely film in here because the lighting's not the greatest, as you can see. It's a little bit dark, but I wanted to show you every single book that is on my physical TBR that I own, and there is absolutely no way that I'm carrying those books back and forth from the spare room into my room, so we're just gonna have to make do with a slightly darker room for today. Now, I want to do this just to try and take stock of everything that I own. I want to be able to look back at the end of the year, see how many of these books I'm taking with me into 26, see if there's any that I'm no longer really interested in reading, and just use it as a little bit of a file going forward to see if maybe there's some things that I could unhaul. So I thought it would be good just to take stock. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say I am not going to give you a synopsis for every single book because this video would be probably like 4 days long because there's almost 200 books on this list. So I'm just going to show you the book, read out the title and the author, and then we're moving on to the next one. Future me is probably already crying at having to edit this video as it is, so I'm not going to make her job any harder than it needs to be. So without further ado, grab your favourite drink and let's get into it. Okay, so I want to start off with the book that I'm currently reading, and that is The Will of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I also am in the middle of reading Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, but you're balancing on that book so I can't show you, but I'll insert a clip somewhere at the end when I'm finished so you can see the book. But it's the Barnes & Noble leather-bound classic edition, so it's a really pretty one. It also makes for a great camera stand, so you're there just now. I'll show you at the end. So I'm going to start with these bookshelves, work my way down and around. This one's going to be probably the most difficult because it's double and sometimes triple stacked, so we'll start with the easy one. First up we have The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang and The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. The Staycation by Krista McLaughlin. The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Darin. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Blood Scion by Deborah Falley. Ghetto Woman Other by Bernadine Evaristo. Christmas at the Palace by Giovanni Sciarica. Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy. The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clausen. The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Heartless by Elsie Silver. The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart. Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsupalu. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Just My Type by Fallon Ballard. Guys, I just filmed a whole 10-minute section and got this bookshelf finished, and the file is corrupted and it's just not playing, so there's no footage. So now I'm gonna have to go back and do it all over again. Great, love that for me. Okay, take two. The first bite I'm so annoyed. Okay, The First Binding by R.R. Verdi. The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. You'll notice that some of these are out of order because my romance shelf slash standalone shelf is organised by colour, not by series, so we're just going to ignore that. Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. The Roommate by Rosie Danin. Set on You by Amy Lee. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. Love on the Brain and Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, both by Ali Hazelwood. Flawless by Elsie Silver. Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackey. Destination Anywhere by Sarah Bernard. I think it's Sarah. It could be Sarah, but that spelling in Scotland, I would say Sarah. So that's what I'm going with. Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Then we have volumes 5 through 9 of the Saga series by Brian K. Vaughan, Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco, Immortality by Dana Schwartz, The Beauty Trials by Donielle Clayton, The Sinister Bookseller of Bath by Garth Nix, The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, Babel by R.F. Kwong, Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn, The Unbecoming of Maradaya and The Evolution of Maradaya, both by Michelle Hodkin. These are the books that have been on my TBR the longest. I bought these way back in the day when booktube was just Kat, Christine and Jessie. That's how long I've had these books. So quite a while. Back in the book explosion days. This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab because it's her young adult one. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Artemis by Andy Weir. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Lux, Rumours and Envy, all by Anna Godverson. A Storm of Swords, A Feast for Crows and A Dance of Dragons Part 1 and 2, all by George R.R. Martin. And then I want to give a special shout out to my Barnes & Noble Classic Editions. So they're not technically on my Goodreads TBR, but they are on my shelves. I do plan on reading them and they are unread, so I just wanted to quickly show you them. You are, however, sitting on them, well, some of them. So you're on Little Women, like I said. I'll show you an overview. I'll put in a clip here by Louisa May Alcott. You are also on The Complete Sherlock Holmes book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. In that one I have read A Study in Scarlet but none of the rest of them. I then also have F. Scott Fitzgerald's classic works, of which I have read none. H.P. Lovecraft, The Complete Collection, again, I've not read any of these. And then here I have The Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I have actually read quite a lot of these, probably over half, I would say. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Other Stories by Lewis Carroll. I haven't read any of these. And Jane Austen's 7 novels. Again, haven't read any of these. Okay, and that is it for the first shelf. I told you this was going to be a long video, so let's get started on the small one behind me. Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron. The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. And then I have the whole Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn, but I'm not going to get all of the books out, but they're all there. You can see them. So you can have a look at just this one. Skyward and Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. I do have the second book in this series somewhere. I think it's called Starflight, but I don't know where it is. But I do own it and that's also unread. Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo and Danny Pendergast. Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. The Hero of Ages by The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. All This Twisted Glory by Tahara Mafi. Murder at the Theatre Royale by Ada Moncrief. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling. This book, I don't know if I'm ever going to read this. I don't think it needed to happen. It makes me irrationally angry thinking about it, so I dare say this is probably still going to be on my TBR by the time we get to the end of the year, but we'll see. I have the entire Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi. I'm not going to get them all out because they all look basically exactly the same, but I have all of them and I haven't read any of them. Legendary and Finale by Stephanie Garber. The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. The Coven by Harper L. Woods. A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. This is a really pretty cover as well. Hamayang Luck by Makana Yamamoto. Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon. And last up on this shelf we have Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin. Phew, okay, we're on to the last shelf. We're so close. Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. Mistress of Lies by K.M. Enright. Heavenly Bodies by Amani Eru. The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. That was really hard to see. Can you see that sort of like blends into the cover? Anyway. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. Witch King by Martha Wells. Conceal Don't Feel by Jen Calanita. Zara by S. J. Jones. The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang. A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTiernan. The Half King by Melissa Landers. The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darley. Air by Saba Tahir. Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. After the Forest by Kel Woods. The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. Bonesmith by Nikki Powell Preto. Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling. The Girl with No Reflection by Kish Chow. I hope that's how you say your name, I'm sorry if it's not. The Forest Grim by Catherine Purdy. These Violent Delights, Our Violent End, Full Lady Fortune, Full Heart Huntsman, and Last Violet Call, all by Chloe Gong. The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz. The Atlas Six and The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Lee Bardugo. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. Okay, we're halfway through this shelf. We're almost done. Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson. If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. Darker by Four by June Tan. The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli. Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. Swordcatcher, Ghosts of the Shadow Market. The Lost Book of the White. Chain of Iron and Chain of Thorns, all by Cassandra Clare. Lore of the Wilds by Annalise Sabrara. The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker. A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schofer. Wolf Song by T.J. Clune. Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco. Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tish. Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. The Jasad Air by Sarah Hashem. Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. Murder Road by Simone St. James. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Uprooted and Spinning Silver by Naomi Novak. I'm not getting them out of this. I'm going to be honest, I'm just too lazy to. The Prisoner's Throne and The Book of the Night by Holly Black. Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. Her Radiant Curse, Six Crimson Cranes, and The Dragon's Promise, all by Elizabeth Lim. Yellowface by R.F. Kwang. And then we have another leather-bound classic edition. I have the Murder on the Orient Express and Other Stories by Agatha Christie. I have read Murder on the Orient Express, but I haven't read any of the other stories in here. The Darkness Within by Trisha Levenseller. Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, both by Carissa Broadbent. Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Lani Taylor. Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. And Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. Okay, we are done. That was the last book. Thank goodness. Okay, wow, that took forever. That was awful. It's getting dark outside, that's how long it took me to do that. I'm so sorry to future me, who is currently editing all of that footage. It's going to take forever, I know, but at least now we've got a record of all of the physical books on my TBR that we can look back on at the end of 2025 and we can see how many of them we have ticked off. Let me know, guys, if you have read any of the books that I showed you today, if there's any that I should get to. Oh, excuse me. Let me know if you read any of the books that I showed you today, guys. I'd love to know if there's any must-reads in that list so that I can start making my TBR for February. As always, if you liked this video, then please like, subscribe and hit that bell notification if you want to see more bookish content from me. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.